Howdy folks, LP Guru here, signing in for Let's Play Final Fantasy 1, Episode 5. I'll be picking up with the previous episode. Was paused. We're gonna be working on bringing in more money. And this episode is probably gonna be another one of those rinse and repeat kind of episodes. I don't really look to level up too much this episode. Emphasis is going to be on saving up money and buying as many spells as possible. But I'm sure at least one level up will occur in the process. Would also be nice if I could land some of my attacks. There we go. Finally. We're gonna be still in straight north to Cornelia. Back to where it all began. Now these fights are just, unnecessary evil. You just have to get through them. Not a threat at all whatsoever. Easy experience and easy money. Come back here and grab Bolt 1. I think I simply didn't buy it originally because I didn't have the money, and then I completely forgot. Yeah, there we go. So we have Fire 1 and Sleep 1 already. And then Bolt 1. So if I'm not mistaken, have everything, yeah. Yep. Rosa is maxed out at her level 1 spell tier, and so is Vivi. Another note of interest is that earlier in the game, we were told about Matoya. Oh, and these things are super annoying. The Goggler, they're capable of, yes, gaze, can paralyze if it connects. Doesn't do any physical damage, but if it connects, it will paralyze for several turns. And it's a major pain in the butt. Especially if it hits your warrior or monk. But yeah, you just go under, you sail under the bridge like that. And you can dock. And you keep on heading north and you will eventually reach Matoya's cave. And while there is nothing of real interest at her cave at this point in the story, there will be in the not too distant future. But for now, there is a reason I'm taking this here. And I could easily just talk about it, but where's the fun in that? I also like to show as much as I can in the game. So we'll be dealing with some simple fights. I think we will eventually run into some ogres. It's possible. There we go. There's one of them. And there she blows. This is definitely one of the reasons. I don't know who'd you end up attacking? My cursor went kind of crazy, but this is definitely one of the main reasons why I waited to do this a little later instead of on our way to Provica, because of this kind of setup was possible. And if you're too low level, this kind of enemy formation could very easily wipe you out. I mean, they're still doing a number on saving, so that just it's further proof of what I'm saying. I'm having to remember the order. Everything was attacked in. Should be easy goings from here on out. Yeah, that should be wiped out, and they're all dead. I don't call it knocked out. They is dead. They gone. Alright, here we are at Matoya's cave. These little broomsticks, magically enchanted broomsticks, give you a hint. Maybe hard to read, but the second line is a hidden message backwards. So instead of reading it normal, left to right, read it from right to left. I don't believe it will do it from inside her cave. Oh, it will. It will. I thought you had to be on the world map, but it will. But the secret message, for those who were unable to decipher it, is start and circle. And it corresponds with the controller. If you press both of those buttons, excuse me, sorry if that was loud. But if you press both buttons at the same time, it will pull up the world map screen. Like I said a few minutes ago, I could have easily simply told you about this, but here we are. I wanted to show you. Now there's two different modes for the map. Here is a view at the entire world map, zoomed out, completely enlarged. And as you move the cursor around, well, not as you move it around, but when you actually select something, the cursor will move to it, show you, obviously, where in the world different locations are. And if you would like something much more detailed, toggle up to switch maps, select that, and it will zoom in, showing you a much more detailed view of where you are. And the R1 plus directional buttons, as it says scrolls larger map, that's what it is. I mean, it also scrolls the zoomed in version as well. So that actually moves both the enlarged versions and zoomed in. And if you notice, as the map is being moved around, the cursor inside the map disappears so that you can view things properly. So, as you can see, we are currently the flashing white light at the top. Cornelia is due south of where the ship is, which is the flashing yellow circle. You can get a better lay of the land. There's Provica, the red rectangle, due east of everything where we are right now. And Elfheim is due south. So as you can tell, right now, we are completely enclosed by land. We are not even, well, yeah. Technically, I don't even think this is considered a sea because it's hard to show. I'll try to show it with the, it won't let me, but hold on. Let's try to get the cursor on it. Right there. Where the cursor is pointing right now is a dock, but it is simply land. It's not, like I just said, it's a dock. It's not like the bridge that we sailed under north of Cornelia. It's an actual dock, so you can't sail through that point. So right now we are actually enclosed, which means that there will be some story elements coming up. Not right this minute, of course. This is simply Matoya, how she interacts with you. So this is a major story-related hint. So at some point in the near future, we will be retrieving Matoya's crystal eye. I just reclaimed one of the antidotes we had to use. And now, this part of Matoya's cave has been completed. I'm gonna check and see where we are. 209 to a level up. Everybody look. Well, no, actually, I don't think I restored anybody's health. Everybody else looks okay. So now that we know how to access the map system, that's super handy. And yes, for anyone who may be wondering, the map could be loaded without going to pay Matoya a visit. However, if you've never played the game before, your actual first time playing, you wouldn't know that. You would have to go and see her, or at least her magically enchanted broomsticks. But yes, now that we know how to use the map system, we can actually know where we are in the world, which is super, super handy. And I know that right now that may not seem like anything to, write home about. That may not seem like anything super impressive. However, let me say this. Back in the day, That was a huge deal. It was very, very rare for a game to have any kind of map loaded into it due to limitations on the onboard memory of the video game itself, let alone have the entire game world's map available. So this is a big deal. This was definitely a breakthrough in video games. Not just RPGs, but video games overall. Different, action and adventure type games. There's a lot of different categories aside from RPGs that benefited from this. I'm not necessarily saying that Final Fantasy is close to being knocked out and a shield is put on them and then they're hit again and they're even more close to being knocked out than before, there's a very, very good chance that you won't have enough time there's a very good chance you won't have enough time to restore health before that particular character is knocked out. Now we will rest up, save progress, and then continue on our way to save up money. I'm not even sure how much money needs to be saved. A few thousand. There's multiple ways that you can go about taking on the next part of the game. You can take things on piece by piece, meaning travel back and forth from Elfheim, or from the future dungeon back to Elfheim. Rest up, all of the above, as well as purchase any remaining spells that are needed, or you can go about things the way that I'm about to. Once again, there's no right or wrong way to do these things, but personally, I find it a little easier to fight on the open sea, save up as much money as possible, get everything that you need, and then take on the dungeon. And no, you won't be overpowered, because this coming dungeon, there's a boss fight. I won't go into detail about it, but there's a boss fight in that dungeon, and then there's another boss fight in the very near future outside of that dungeon. So it's super important to be prepared. And don't worry, I will not talk like I did in the previous episode about all these spells. It's just important to note everything. And here you have to decide as well. Because unless I'm mistaken, these don't target multiple foes, but since we're going to be spending so much time on the water, it just makes the most sense for Bolt to be the purchase made. And that's all we can afford at this particular moment. But another thing that I've come to learn is that it's also easiest and a lot cheaper to travel back to Cornelia to rest up. Save 70 gil, I believe, or 80. I think it's 70, because I think it's, yeah, it's 30 gil in Cornelia, so yeah, it's let's try this one more time. I'm going to try to slip of the tongue. So 30 gil in Cornelia and 100 gil in Elfheim. So yes, you will save on average 70 gil each time that you stay in Cornelia, and that adds up fast. You know, just doing it one time wouldn't be worth it, but the number of times this is going to require, yeah, it will add up fast. And I really don't think there's any rhyme or reason to where enemies are located in the water. sharks do pose a threat. They have a relatively high physical attack stat, or just strength stat. I can't remember how they classify, how they categorize that information for enemies. If it's, identical to the party, makeup, or if it's different. But to be safe, I didn't do it last time, and I should have, but okay. I'm gonna put shield on our black mage. But no, what kind of got me distracted is, if you see here, and I was mistaken earlier, I wasn't sure, but I was mistaken. See here, if you select bolt 1, the cursor is solid the entire time. Bolt 2 kind of flashes a little bit. The flashing indicates that it will target all enemies. So that's definitely good to know. Yes, put shield on Vivi, since I have yet to acquire a copper armlet, I believe is what it is. I'm going to go in and check, make sure. Yeah, since I have yet to acquire a copper armlet for him. Once again, there's no rhyme or reason to any of this. Sometimes this process takes longer than others. Sometimes it goes by relatively quickly. It completely depends on the enemies encountered. Such as, I believe the privateer enemy carries the most money on them. So we can encounter a lot of privateers. That speed things up. The flip side, however, is that I don't believe you get a lot of experience from them. To give me a little bit of water there. I can tell my throat's getting a little parched. This is another reason why I really do try not to do a lot of talking each episode. I know a lot of you out there thinking, yeah, right. You've talked the majority of each episode, and I have no defense for that, because that is true. But it's a very fine line that I have to walk here, because I don't want to talk too much, but at the same time, I don't want to not talk enough. I don't want the episode, any given episode, to be played in too much silence. Because then it's like, well, if you have access to playing, the game yourself, that would almost be like you playing the game yourself. Not saying there's anything wrong if there's anybody out there who, talks to themselves or thinks out loud, while playing video games, but that's kind of the whole point of a Let's Play, so that, you know, whoever you're watching playing the video game, they're talking. Now, of course, there are certain exceptions to that. Meaning, certain games really do require a lot of concentration, so just depending on the game determines how much the player talks. Also, another note of interest worth mentioning right now. Even though I said all that I did earlier about saving up money and going after pretty much everything you need, including the higher end level 4 spells, one thing to keep in mind is right now, looking at both Rosa and Vivi, both of their level 4 spell capacities, or MP capacity, I should say, the max value is only 3. So right now, it's not super imperative that you go after the level 4 spells. Because even if we owned what we needed of them right now, we would only be able to cast them 3 times each. So it's okay if you simply pursue level 3 spells. Now, of course, it's still going to cost you because each spell will literally cost you, because each spell costs 1,000 gil. So you still definitely need to save up, because just for your 2 spellcasters, you need 6,000 gil to completely outfit them. We need less than that because I think we need 4,000 gil overall now, because each one has, I think, I need to double check. I may stand corrected. Let me look. Okay, no, we need all 3 for Rosa, so that's 3,000. Only need 2 more for Vivi, so 5,000. As you can see, we're not even at 2,000, so it's gonna take a little bit of time. $340. The requirement to level up. So you just take things in stride. As stated in a previous recording, you just have to be patient. This is also one of the main reasons why I am hanging around the Cornelia area, because we're starting to rely more heavily on Vivi and Bolt 2. Well, we don't have that much MP left to cast Bolt 2. So we're just going to be hanging around the dock area. And then some fights don't even get much of anything, just kind of a dud. But such is the nature of random encounters. You never know what you are going to run into. So for privateers, they only give 15 experience just for one, but I think 120 in gil for just for one. So not a lot of experience, but the literal payout is definitely worth it. They give it a lot of money. And this is the point in the game where I think a lot of players, myself included, my first couple times playing this game, but I think this is the point in the game where a lot of players begin to, overlook that the sea is a great area to both bring in money and level up. Because normally, unless you've just invested a lot of time in fights on land between Cornelia and Provica, unless you've done that, you're not going to be level 10 or higher when you're first getting to the sea. And it's super important to invest your time here, because the future fights outside of Elfheim, and we get to the next dungeon, everything, we've got to be well over level 10. Like, this is the beginning of the turning point of Final Fantasy 1. And by turning point, I mean like turn it up in regards to difficulty. This game does, well, I would never really say that this game does any kind of hand-holding. if nothing else, this game gives you a very healthy or unhealthy, depends on your perspective, but a very strong dose of caution. It sets the stage for later Final Fantasy games, and it does a great job of that too. It does a really good job. And speaking of level 10, that's where we are right now. And you can also see the experience requirement that's increased. 1,270 experience points are now required to level up again. Yeah, that's a good bit. But I'm gonna go back really quick. I didn't look at. Okay, so we have a look right over 2,600 gil. That will be enough to pick up a couple more level 3 spells. And as I noted, excuse me, at level 7, I believe, for the warrior, increasing his hit threshold to 2, I believe level 10 is the first point where the monk's hit count increases. equivalent for water and aquatic weaknesses. The direct correlation is bolt and lightning is their weakness. Most, not saying all, but most enemies on land are weak to fire. So the direct correlation here is I will more than likely be picking up fire 2 and then some other kind of spell. Not sure which one just yet. Thankfully though, the town is nice enough to give both level 3 shots right there, close to each other. So that, like I just stated, I'll be picking up fire 2, but I'll have to decide between bind and focus 2. Focus 1 I skipped out on because I believe it only applied to a single enemy. But I know I'm not going to get both. I won't get both from here right now. I will let our white mage benefit this time as well. Go ahead and get Cure 2. The others can wait for now. What's really important to keep in mind though is before we take on the next dungeon, I'm going to make it a point to at least own Asuna or Esuna, however you like to pronounce it. That will help tremendously with having to backtrack because someone has been poisoned. It's so much easier to have the spell, because realistically the amount of money you would spend in properly stocking up on enough antidotes to not have to make multiple trips back and forth, you're going to be better off just investing the time needed and going ahead and getting the spell. You will thank yourself in the long run. And yes, it's boring. I'm not going to lie. That kind of grind gets old really fast, but the reward of owning the spell that cures the status ailment, there are no words. Words cannot do it justice. The level of convenience that it gives you. And not only that, but it's a one and done kind of deal. Once you buy the spell and you own it, yeah, it costs, I think, 2,500 gil, which is a good chunk. But once you have it in your possession, you don't have to worry about. I mean, I'm not gonna say you don't have to worry about buying antidotes anymore, because that would be bad advice. You still need to keep some on you for emergency use, because no matter the level, a cure spell is always going to be more worthy of you using the MP to cast it than to use the MP to remove poison. And I know that sounds crazy, but I can guarantee you we will get we will more than likely get into those types of situations before long. I'm not going to get into those kind of situations on purpose, mind you, but that'll happen. It always does. Every single playthrough I've had, it has happened. So it's not a matter of, you know, if it will happen, but when will it happen? Like I said earlier, if I could continue to experience these kind of fights where I'm getting almost 500 gil a pop, that would help tremendously. Because as stated, I mean, we've only gained like maybe 200 experience, so it's not about the experience. At this point, it's about earning that money. These types of fights, even if I had wasted that one MP to cast Bolt to, it would have all been worth it. Because when you get in a situation where your white mage is paralyzed, things can get ugly very quickly. Now I'm just trying to get in another fight. There we go. It's just a shark. Nothing to see here, folks. Just a shark. And a shark that seems to just be floating in midair at that. Don't think you're gonna see that too many times in your lifetime. Alright. You've seen one shark, you've seen them all. Come on, bring on the privateers, please. I think I'm gonna chance heading over towards awards, if I could talk properly. the Provoca area. Because I think that's where we fought the pirates initially. They may actually be hanging out in that area. Typically speaking, you have a higher chance. That was the word I was looking for, and it almost left my brain before I said it, but you have a higher chance of running into privateers when you're closer to a dock. It's there, you know, hanging out, scoping the place out, getting ready for nightfall, even though nightfall does happen in this game, but just not here in this part. But yeah, stay close to town and you have a higher chance of running into a privateer. Try to do a little bit of back and forth just to see if my theory is correct. I don't make any guarantees, but with a good bit of what I say, I speak from experience, and that is the truth. But there are certain things that I have witnessed some really rare things multiple times in this game, but this is my first time ever recording gameplay, so I'm hoping, really hoping to see certain things again, so that it can actually be captured on footage. Always check. Everybody, let's go. We just always stay in that habit of checking on everyone's health, because a critical from a shark can almost KO you. Now, thankfully, it's rare that a shark actually delivers a critical attack, but it's possible, and it's a really good bit of damage to the warrior, but to a spellcaster, if you're not a high enough level, then it'll be an instant KO, and this is what I was hoping for. Right here, so I'm hoping that my theory is correct. If it is, then I'll finish out this episode in this area, and hopefully just a very, very, very small piece of the next episode will be us doing this some more. But I think we only need 2 more level 3 spells, which is 2,000 gil. So we're already well over the 3,000 gil threshold. So we can go ahead and get those 2. I'm looking at everyone's health again, and yeah, I will. We have enough we have enough magic. If I end up staying in Elfheim instead of coming back to Cornelia, that's perfectly fine too. Yeah, we still have 5 MP and the level 3, so we're definitely good. Yeah, nice chunk of change we'll be bringing in this fight. Yep, 75 experience and wow, 600 gil. That must have been one extra privateer than usual. And we've normally been bringing in 480 gil. Alright, if it will let me dock, and it will. Run on in here and take on some. Or run on, what am I saying? Just get in here and take on some warg wolves. I have to slow down my speech every now and then, otherwise some of these names can easily be tongue twisters. Easily get tongue-tied over them. Sabin to the rescue for taking that one out. Everybody else seemed to... I mean, everybody landed their attack, but they didn't do enough to take it out. Alrighty. Run in here. This is what I was starting to say run in for, and then I got in a fight. Really? Come on now. And I got in a fight instead. Got a little ahead of myself with what I was saying. Want a chance white magic. Now if you really pay attention to things, you can easily outfit both. Well, not both. I'm gonna do all this for the white mage. I'm only getting Dia 2 here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get Asuna or Esuna. That way, that's one less thing to worry about. It is always going to take longer to save up 2,500 gil than it is 1,000. And I don't believe, could be mistaken, but I don't believe that there's any enemies we're going to encounter anytime soon that are capable of inflicting silence. So Vox can wait, but Vox will definitely be one of the others purchased in the near future. Trying to think. We have 3 antidotes and we'll be able to cast Asuna 5 times. So Run back to the item shop. Grab 2 more antidotes. Just to stay well-rounded. Right now, what really helps is knowing that Asuna is our only level 4 white magic spell. So we can completely dedicate its usage to curing poison. So, very unexpectedly, I gotta say, I'll add this really quick, but that's what I say about RPGs. You can be playing, everything can be going normal, and then you have a sudden turn, good or bad. But in this instance, good fortune was smiling upon us. We actually ended up earning more money than expected, which is going to directly result in us actually getting to explore the next dungeon in the next episode. I can't necessarily make any guarantees that we will complete the next dungeon, but I will at least get us there, and we will explore as much of it as possible. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next episode. LP Guru, signing out.